Hey, what's up guys, it's Sav here and welcome to a video all about how to succeed in the video games industry. Now, I am a super duper lucky person, okay? Over the last, I'd say 6 or 7 years, I've risen in the industry somewhat. I work in eSports as a stage host. I work as a producer of live events and a host of live events with huge popular YouTubers and content creators. And I also have my own TV show on Sky TV in the UK all about video games. It is the coolest thing ever, but it's not a job that came easy, alright? It's taken years and years of graft to get to where I am today. Now, one of the most trickiest parts of all this is where to actually start, where to begin in the first place. A lot of people don't really know how to get into the industry to begin with. You know, you might be someone who is interested in making games and being a developer of a particular game. You may be interested in being some kind of publisher or PR representative of a particular games developer or game where you can help promote that game because you enjoy it so much and its series. You may be someone who wants to be in front of camera, like your boy Sav here, talking about games and how much you enjoy them. You could be someone who wants to write about them, to make videos about them, produce. There's so many things you can do in the space of video games, but it's up to you watching right now. You've got to make a decision where you really see yourself going. You see, in this day and age, it's really hard because there are so many other people trying to make it in the industry as well. You know, I remember when I first started out trying to become a presenter of some sort. I had the experience, but I couldn't really find a foot in the door to any particular genre. Did I want to be the next Dermot O'Leary on X Factor? Did I want to be the next host of MTV or T4? God, I'm showing my age there. T4. God, there are so many different things and ways that you can get in, but I couldn't really find a particular niche for myself. And then I got an audition for a company called Jinx TV. For you guys who watch the first hour and top 10 on Jinx eSports TV now, I'm still there all these years later, working with those guys, with the awesome team there on new productions all the time. But it started out way back when, back in 2010, I got into Jinx and I started out by writing scripts about games. Now, I knew I loved games. I knew that I was, I never really thought of myself as a gaming presenter as such. I thought, I love games, here's a way into the industry, I'll give it a go. So I started writing about games, doing reviews for them at games. I think my first ever game I reviewed was Tiger Woods 2011. Man, that was hard to write things about, anything positive about. It was mostly swinging. From there, from Jinx, I kind of worked my way up. It was writing, which then became the face of a show called Planet of the Apps, talking about apps and technology and mobile stuff, which then led on to me writing my own scripts for the show, which gave me the confidence then to produce my own shows as well. Like, I went on years later to produce Legends of Gaming Live at Alexandra Palace to write and produce the show. I work regularly with people like Ali A and Dan TDM on shows where we go around the world to like Lego events or I don't know, big shows and present the Gamescom in the Middle East and produce these big shows where I host them as well. It all just happened, which is amazing, and it's all about being confident, having the confidence in yourself to say, do you know what, I'm going to go for it, I'm determined, and that is the direction I'm going. But I'm being very flippant about the advice I'm giving here because, you know, it's like, oh yeah, just try everything and something will work. There are some certain things you could do to really give yourself the best chance possible. Tip number 1, creativity is key, all right? Creativity is what the whole video games industry is really about now, all right? You've got to have opinions, or you've got to have content about it. You've got to have ways of making games. You need a creative mindset to make these things happen. And if you want to work in games, that is something that is really key to you. Are you someone who loves the way that games actually move, the way that the characters, the worlds come to life on screen? Do you want to develop and help make that game, working with technology and such? That could be where you want to be. You could be someone who wants to be like myself, who is like, hey, energy, all about being on screen and talking about games and how much you love playing them. That could be where your strengths lie. It could be somewhere else. I don't know, but it's all about creativity, okay? That is the thing that you really need to harness. If there's something you're particularly good at, I would say stick with that to start with at least. Stick with where you're at creatively there and then evolve from that point onwards. One of the biggest regrets I have when I first got into TV as such, was that I didn't jump in with 2 feet straight away, all right? What I did is I held back and I waited for, you know, sat on my hands, kind of waiting, someone's going to ring me on the phone, yeah, someone's going to call me and be like, yo, do you want a job? Like, yeah, I'll take the job, yeah, great. That's not how it works, okay? That doesn't happen. Maybe in the movies, but not in real life. Someone is just not going to ring you, okay? The idea of you sending an email and suddenly becoming the face of, I don't know, the face of Call of Duty, it's not going to happen overnight, okay? What you need to do is you need to be really persistent. You need to know who exactly you want to go to and target certain individuals as well, which leads me to my second tip, which is be sure to expand your contact network as much as you can. Now, this is really, really, really key. It's all about networking. You know, people these days, in this day and age, it's all about meeting people, getting the opportunities, a foot in the door. A lot of jobs these days come from simply knowing someone who emails you or gives you a ring and says, this job's come up, can you help out? I'd love to have you on board. And you go, yeah, I'm in. It doesn't even go to the world to give them an opportunity. It goes to someone directly, they get the job, they go from there. That's how it really works these days. So having a network in the industry, as big a one as possible, is really, really important, okay? I'm talking get on LinkedIn, get on Twitter, get on Instagram, get on every different platform you can possibly think of. I think MySpace is dead. Try MySpace. Blogger, try them all. Napster, is that? Can you share me? I think that's illegal, and that went a long time ago. There are lots of different things you can do to reach the right people. All right, that is what it's all about. It's reaching the right people. Another thing I'd hugely recommend is going to expos or going to events or conventions of things that you love. You could be someone who's a massive Star Wars fan. That's what I did. I was a massive Star Wars fan. I am a massive Star Wars fan. I knew Star Wars Celebration was coming to London back in 2000, I think it was 16. And I was like, do you know what? I'd love to be involved in that. I'm confident in what I do. I've got the experience. I'm going to reach out to them and just see what happens. Would you believe it, 2 weeks before Star Wars Celebration, we're talking Lucasfilm, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul, all of them in London, I wrote to them, what do you get? Adam, do you still want to do some presenting for us? From Lucasfilm directly, invited me down, XL Centre in London, and I'm one of the main hosts of the Star Wars show. It was that crazy, but it's a whirlwind, and you've got to really put yourself out there, because otherwise it's never ever, no one's ever going to know that you exist, and it's never going to happen. So, for me, it's all about going to conventions like Star Wars Celebration, or going to Insomnia, or going to Legends of Gaming, or going to all these different events. Gamescom, E3's a massive one in LA. All these different conventions and events happen. If you can get yourself to them, maybe start reaching out to them before going, that you can meet up with when you're there. People that are like-minded, like yourself, about a certain franchise. Someone who works in the actual industry, just to meet them and ask them about the game and get a hands-on and chat to them about how they got in there. PR people, they are the people that you need to really get involved with. These are people who are really going to change the game for you. Terrible pun there. Change the game for you when it comes to actually making a name for yourself within the industry. So make sure that you make your contact list as big as possible. This kind of leads me to my next tip as well, which is reach out to people, or don't be afraid to reach out to people that you love listening to, watching, or reading, all right? We live in a day and age now where the entire world is accessible with a few clicks and a swipe. If there are people that you love watching, the games they love making, take Epic Games who make Fortnite, a game that's blown up this year like crazy. If you love that game and want to learn how they made the game or get to know people surrounded in the world of Fortnite, reach out to them. You can use Twitter, you can get on their Facebook, I'm sure, you can get on their website, anything. Reach out to the community people. There's a community manager for pretty much every single games developer and publisher there is. There's always someone who is there to reach to, so make sure to do so by simply dropping them a DM, requesting that you email them, anything like that. You can do it. Don't be afraid. One thing I did when I first started out in the presenting space, trying to find a way in, was I was a bit nervous when it came to emailing people, because I was worried they reject me and say, nah, sorry, sling your hook, we're not interested, mate. That will happen. You need to realize that people will 9 times out of 10 be like, either A, too busy to get back to you, they will be say there's nothing available right now, and that's that. Then you kind of like think to yourself, why am I doing this? I feel awful. This was a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. You can imagine these people get bombarded with emails and requests every single day. My point is, one of those times you'll reach out to somebody at the perfect moment where they are looking for someone to test a game perhaps. Anything where you can get your foot in the door and start working within the industry. Do not be afraid to reach out to the masses and to say hello and introduce yourself to the world, okay? Whatever happens, if you do get rejected at any time, it is not the end of the world. It is part and parcel of the entertainment industry as a whole, okay? If you pester someone and start sending them like death threats and weird kind of like notes and stuff, that probably will end in some form of lawsuit. Don't do that. Be good, be nice, be happy, be positive. Don't be a crazy person. Content creation of your own. This is something which has become massively saturated recently on the likes of YouTube, okay? There are so many people now with the technology that we got now with everything from PlayStation, Xbox, PC, everything where you can pretty much stream any of your gameplay straight to the internet. Pretty much everyone is creating a channel of some sort to make some kind of content. Streaming on Twitch is a great platform. There are so many people streaming on there playing games. That is a great way to get yourself out there, even if you don't have the fan base, and everyone's got to start from scratch anyway. Even if you don't have that fan base, you're broadcasting to you and your best mate who happens to be playing the same game as you at the same time. You're still putting yourself out there, getting used to being on camera in front of people. And that's really important as well. In this day and age, writing is kind of dying slightly. People who are writers are going to go, no, it's not, it's still going. It is a little bit. Only recently this week, I think it was, NME magazine, one of the biggest music magazines, is now stopping its editorial written magazines going on shelves, okay? So there are magazines restricting what they're doing and going solely online. I completely get it. It's a thing. Pretty much every single gaming magazine has a sister website or a website which is their primary focus now. So that's a great place as well to try and contact and get in there. Maybe they're looking for a review of a mobile game. They don't really have anyone there who looks at mobile games specifically, or someone who doesn't really play sports games or FPS games. Make sure to reach out to them if you can do and say to them, hey, I'd love to give this a go. Get something written down as well that you can share with everyone. You really should make sure to have some kind of example of what people want to see and what you're capable of doing. People often say, show us some of your work or send something through to us. Make sure you have something on the back burner that you can always send out that you know is your best and that you're really pleased with, and that makes you happy, that you're really content sharing with people, that you can promote yourself and get yourself out there. All right, that's really important as well. But when it comes to YouTube, it comes to Twitch, it comes to any of these different platforms where you can broadcast yourself. If it's you wanting to be in front of camera, these are great places to get yourself out there. YouTube only came around in like 2008 or so, about 10 years ago. For me, it wasn't there when I was growing up, when I first started out in my teens. There was no YouTube. If I'd known back then, when I was kind of sitting there waiting, going, someone's going to email me, I'm going to be famous soon. Had I known that I could create YouTube videos then, boy, I'd be a millionaire now. Numbers are something which has just become the bane of, I think, everyone's life. The numbers and the reach you have often dictates whether or not you're going to get a foot in the door or not as well. As I mentioned throughout this entire video, if you haven't got some kind of digital footprint or you haven't got something which you can share, then make sure you start to work on that. Try and find a way that you can create a profile online, be it Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Find a way to channel what you want to do in posts. It doesn't matter about the likes at first, it just matters that you're in that world and like-minded people will find you and you can work together as a group and help each other. You could be the most talented person in the world, but if you've got no online presence of any sort, it's going to go against you. In the world of video games, it's very much about being the biggest, having the biggest reach to as many people as humanly possible. So I really recommend that you work in a way that you can create something from scratch. It doesn't have to be this big thing straight away. If you're getting 3 likes a picture, great, you're getting 3 likes a picture. That is something. You look at the biggest YouTube creator there is, PewDiePie, at 61.5 million subscribers. He had to start on 0. Then get to his first 100, then first 1,000. It took time. It wasn't overnight. It took a lot of work. It took determination. And that is what's key here as well. Be confident because everybody else is. This is an industry as well which has got so many people trying to find a way to break in, and everyone is confident. It's a confidence-based industry. The more confident you look, the more engaging you are on camera. Those are the people that are going to do well. If you are someone who is working in production, for instance, be confident to reach out to people around you that you respect, that you like, to get on board with them as well. to see if you can work with them in some capacity. You'd be surprised at how far you'll get by simply making the tea on a set. You'll be surprised how much you'll absorb, how much you'll learn, simply by being there in the same room as people that you respect and want to work with one day, or want to be one day. It's incredible. You learn so much by simply doing that. Competitive gaming is something which a few years ago people still thought was this really geeky thing where people just huddled around a few computers in someone's basement and someone won like a Domino's pizza voucher. That is not the case anymore at all. Avenues like esports can create loads of opportunities. As a main stage host, getting the crowd hyped up, throwing back and forth my production knowledge of things that I've done and how a production works on a giant scale, it works brilliantly for me because I can throw to and from analysts, commentators, the players, interviewing them, interviews, all these different things that I've learned over the years I've been doing this now. I managed to combine and put into esports as well. Everyone in this esports world is really seeing how much it's popping off now. So I would definitely suggest as well, if you're more in the competitive world, if you like Hearthstone or you like CSGO or you like League of Legends, any of these things, look as well at how you can fit into that particular world. That is really key. If there's a game or a genre that you love specifically, let's say for instance that you love Dota 2, you've got to reach out to Valve. Go to their events, go to their kind of like their kind of showcases of when they have key players playing in the stadium. Talk to people as much as you can, like-minded individuals. That's really important as well. Esports is definitely a thing that is growing, and you should definitely keep your eye on it if you're interested in getting involved in gaming as well, because boy oh boy are there so many events and so many opportunities in that space right now. Well, I think that about covers it for the first video on how to make it in the video game industry. There's some real tips there. I think the majority of them revolved around just reaching out to people, being confident, having the drive to try and find and get the job that you want. But I think the most important thing is, what do you want to do? That's the biggest thing. I think, what do you want to do? Many people go, I don't know, I just love games. That's fine, but try and channel that and try and find a particular thing, a particular role that you would really love to do in the industry, because there's so much opportunity. There are so many things that you could do. It's where you can start, where that path, that journey begins, is completely up to you. How do you find your way in? As I said, use the tips I've given you. Reach out to people, broaden your network, make yourself a person that people want to get to know or want to hear more from. That's really important, but it's down to you. It's down to you. Video games are growing. They are the biggest entertainment platform there is now, beating DVD, movies, talking Blu-rays and music, everything. Video games are life, baby. Had my parents realised this when they used to say to me, you'll never make any money playing video games. My dad had a really high squeaky voice. No, just joking. If it was down to back, I remember way back when, it was all about like, you know, video games, how are you going to make a living doing that? It is now a massive, massive business. You read the newspapers, you read online, you see it is a huge, huge thing. If you can find that niche that makes you stand out from a crowd, then you're absolutely laughing. This is the time to strike. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure in the comments below to let me know how you got on, any questions you have, any ways I can help you, anything at all. Use this as well, the comments and this platform, my channel, as a way of communicating with other like-minded people who want to do things as well. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for loads more videos, and make sure to like this video too if you did like this video. I hope you enjoyed the different tips I gave you guys to help you in your journey, your adventure into becoming some form of video game megastar. Thanks for watching. Take care, bros. Stay savage, and I'll see you real soon. Take care, and bye-bye for now. And good luck. Good luck.